From 2000 to 2009, 10 Defensive Player of the Year trophies were awarded. But did the voters actually choose the NBA's best defender every season? Let's rejudge all 10 years, because 3 official winners are about to lose their awards, and Tim Duncan is finally getting the defensive recognition he deserved. Alonzo Mourning, 2000. Alonzo Mourning officially won the 2000 Defensive Player of the Year award, and the voters clearly got this one right. He averaged 9.5 rebounds and an incredible 3.7 blocks across 79 games, turning Miami's paint into one of the hardest areas in basketball to attack. Mourning did not simply stand underneath the basket and wait for easy blocks. He stepped toward driving guards, recovered to opposing centers, and had enough strength to battle the league's biggest players. Tim Duncan and Kevin Garnett could defend more areas of the court, but nobody protected the rim as aggressively or consistently as Mourning that season. Opponents changed shots, abandoned drives, and constantly checked where he was before attacking the basket. His presence also allowed Miami's perimeter defenders to pressure the ball more aggressively because they knew Mourning was protecting everything behind them. This was one of the easiest decisions of the decade. Mourning was the official winner and the actual best defender. Dikembe Mutombo, 2001. Dikembe Mutombo officially won the 2001 award, but my actual choice is Tim Duncan. Mutombo had the more impressive traditional numbers, averaging 13.5 rebounds and 2.7 blocks while protecting the paint for Atlanta and then Philadelphia. He was the better pure shot blocker, controlled the defensive glass, and remained one of the most intimidating players to meet near the basket. His size and timing could make guards abandon drives before they even reached him. Duncan, however, influenced more parts of every possession and provided elite defensive value across all 82 games. He averaged 12.2 rebounds and 2.3 blocks while anchoring one of the league's strongest defensive teams. Instead of leaving his position to chase blocks, Duncan recognized offensive actions early, controlled pick-and-roll spacing, defended post players without needing constant help, and forced opponents into difficult shots before a block was even necessary. Kevin Garnett could cover more space away from the rim, while Mutombo produced more visible highlights, but Duncan offered the best combination of positioning, mobility, rim protection, rebounding, and availability. He rarely made the wrong rotation and gave San Antonio a dependable defensive foundation every night. Mutombo's victory was completely understandable, so this was not a robbery, but Duncan solved more defensive problems and should have won the first Defensive Player of the Year award of his career. Ben Wallace, 2002. Ben Wallace officially won in 2002, and this was another correct decision. Wallace averaged 13 rebounds, 3.5 blocks, and 1.7 steals across 80 games, producing one of the most complete defensive seasons of the decade. Despite being undersized for a center, he had enough strength to battle much larger players and enough quickness to rotate toward guards, recover to the basket, and create turnovers most centers could never reach. Tim Duncan was the more controlled positional defender, and Kevin Garnett could defend more areas of the court, but Wallace created more defensive chaos than either of them. He protected the rim, dominated the defensive glass, and gave Detroit the identity that would define the franchise for years. Wallace clearly deserved his first Defensive Player of the Year award. Ben Wallace, 2003. Ben Wallace repeated in 2003 after becoming even more dominant. He averaged an absurd 15.4 rebounds, 3.2 blocks, and 1.4 steals while Detroit allowed only 87.7 points per game. Wallace could battle a center in the post, rotate toward a driving guard, and immediately finish the possession with a rebound. His strength allowed him to survive against bigger players, while his athleticism helped him recover whenever Detroit's first line of defense was beaten. However, Tim Duncan made this race much closer than people remember. Duncan averaged 12.9 rebounds and 2.9 blocks while anchoring San Antonio's championship defense. He was more disciplined, rarely moved outside the correct position, and prevented many openings before they ever appeared. Wallace created more chaos, while Duncan made fewer mistakes. Kevin Garnett also deserved consideration because he could defend more positions and cover more space away from the basket. Still, Wallace produced the greatest overall disruption, carried Detroit's defensive identity, and dominated the defensive glass at a historic level. Duncan had a serious argument, but Wallace's rebounding, rim protection, and ability to erase mistakes give him the narrow edge. Duncan came close again, but his biggest missed opportunities were still ahead. Artest, 2004. Artest officially won the 2004 award, but my actual choice is Kevin Garnett. Artest was probably the most intimidating perimeter defender in basketball. He pressured guards, overpowered wings, denied comfortable catches, and made elite scorers work for every touch. He could handle players with speed, strength, or size, and rarely needed another defender to rescue him. Artest also averaged 2.1 steals while helping Indiana win 61 games, so his victory was completely defensible. Garnett, however, influenced far more areas of the court. He averaged 13.9 rebounds, 2.2 blocks, and 1.5 steals while playing all 82 games. He could switch on at guards, battle forwards, protect the rim, recover towards shooters, and communicate every rotation behind the play. Artest could remove the opponent's best perimeter scorer, but Garnett could repair almost any problem created during a possession. He could stop the initial action, help a teammate, recover to the basket, and then finish the possession with a rebound. Garnett also carried greater responsibility as Minnesota's backline defender and defensive organizer. For pure one-on-one perimeter defense, Artest may have been better, but for complete defensive influence across an entire team, Garnett had the stronger season. This was extremely close and could reasonably go either way, but Garnett's versatility, availability, and system-wide impact give him the narrow edge. Ben Wallace, 2005. Ben Wallace officially reclaimed the trophy in 2005, although Tim Duncan nearly takes this one too. Wallace averaged 12.2 rebounds, 2.4 blocks, and 1.4 steals while continuing to anchor Detroit's elite defense. He protected the basket, controlled the glass, and used his quickness to create turnovers that most traditional centers could not produce. Duncan averaged 11.1 rebounds and 2.6 blocks while leading San Antonio's league-best defensive system, and he may have been the better defender whenever both players were available. Duncan controlled his positioning, defended taller centers more comfortably, and rarely needed desperate recovery plays because he was usually standing in the correct place before the offense attacked. Wallace created more turnovers, carried a larger rebounding responsibility, and played with greater disruptive energy. The deciding factor was availability. Duncan appeared in only 66 games, while Wallace played 74 and provided more total defensive value across the full regular season. Had Duncan played closer to 80 games, I would probably change the result because his defensive impact was that strong. But the award measures the entire season, and missing 16 games matters in such a close race. Wallace keeps the trophy by the smallest possible margin. Ben Wallace, 2006. Ben Wallace officially won his 4th Defensive Player of the Year award in 2006 after averaging 11.3 rebounds, 2.2 blocks, and an impressive 1.8 steals while playing all 82 games. San Antonio had the stronger overall defensive system, but its responsibility was divided. Bruce Bowen handled the opponent's most dangerous perimeter scorer, while Tim Duncan protected the basket and controlled everything behind him. Wallace combined many of those responsibilities by himself. He protected the rim, controlled the glass, defended larger centers, and created turnovers at a rate almost no center could match. Bowen was the better perimeter specialist and Duncan was the more disciplined interior defender, but Wallace carried the wider individual workload throughout the season. He remained Detroit's defensive foundation and gave the team toughness, energy, and reliability every night. The voters made the correct choice, but 1 year later, they made the biggest mistake of the decade. Marcus Camby, 2007. Marcus Camby officially won the 2007 award after leading the NBA with 3.3 blocks per game. He also averaged 11.7 rebounds and 1.2 steals, so the box score made him look like the obvious choice. His blocks were spectacular, his rebounding numbers were strong, and his ability to recover from the weak side created some of the best defensive highlights in basketball. But blocks do not measure everything a defender does. Camby sometimes moved away from his original assignment to chase shots, opening space for passes, offensive rebounds, and finishes behind him. His highlights looked impressive, but Denver did not consistently defend like a team anchored by the league's best defender. Tim Duncan averaged fewer blocks at 2.4 per game, yet his defense was far more dependable. He controlled pick-and-roll positioning, defended post players without needing constant help, protected the basket without recklessly leaving his assignment, and forced opponents into difficult shots before a block became necessary. Duncan's greatest defensive plays often looked less exciting because the opponent simply decided not to attack him. Bruce Bowen also had a strong case and actually finished ahead of Duncan in the official voting because he defended elite perimeter scorers every night. But Bowen could pressure those players so aggressively partly because Duncan controlled everything behind him and was ready to repair any mistake. Camby produced the more impressive statistics, while Duncan created the better defensive possessions, anchored the stronger system, and made every teammate's job easier. Camby was clearly an elite defender, but the voters rewarded the most visible defensive plays instead of the most reliable defensive impact. Tim Duncan should have won the 2007 Defensive Player of the Year award, giving him the second trophy he never received. Kevin Garnett, 2008. Kevin Garnett officially won the 2008 award, and no change is needed. Boston improved from 24 wins to 66 after adding him, and its defense became the foundation of that transformation. Garnett averaged 9.2 rebounds, 1.4 steals, and 1.3 blocks, but those numbers barely captured his influence. He recognized offensive actions early, called out screens, directed teammates into the correct positions, and reacted before dangerous opportunities fully developed. Marcus Camby recorded more blocks and rebounds, while Tim Duncan remained an elite interior anchor, but Garnett transformed the intelligence, energy, and confidence of an entire defense. Boston's perimeter players could apply more pressure because they trusted Garnett to communicate and repair mistakes behind them. He did not simply guard his own player. He controlled Boston's entire defensive system, making him unquestionably the actual best defender. Dwight Howard, 2009. Dwight Howard officially won in 2009, and he was also the actual best defender. Howard led the league with 13.8 rebounds and 2.9 blocks across 79 games while anchoring the NBA's best-rated defense. Orlando's perimeter defenders could pressure ball handlers and chase shooters because they knew Howard was waiting behind them. He protected the basket, controlled the defensive glass, and had enough athleticism to recover even after stepping away from the rim. LeBron James offered the strongest alternative because he could defend guards, wings, and power forwards while using his speed and strength to erase transition opportunities. LeBron solved more types of individual matchups, but Howard influenced more total possessions. Every drive, cut, and pick and roll entering Orlando's paint had to account for him. Opponents changed shots, passed out of attacks, and sometimes avoided the basket completely because they knew Howard was nearby. His rim protection, rebounding, availability, and responsibility for the league's best defense made him the correct winner.